Yes, I think we are live now. Thank you, Alagba, Dr. Olufemi. Appreciate your coming.
Welcome, sir.
Yes, good evening, good Abend, Ekale, Ekaro, Ekasan, Ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa. One of the thing I picked up from Yoruba campaign group, there are a lot of there are so many lessons I picked up from there, and I've been enjoying it. I've been using it. Well, viewers, this is OtunbaHOO latest talk show, and tonight I'm going to be joined by three guests. I have the first one in. I'm still expecting two more to come, and as they come in, I'll be introducing them to everyone, and they will also be introducing themselves. But please do me a favor as we start, before we start this program, do me a favor by sharing, like, and love to friends and family, people you want to us to see this show. So at least I have no doubt in my mind that there will be one or two things they're going to pick up that's going to be useful to them. And while I'm still waiting for the other two guests, one more from the UK and the other one from South Africa. I think there's only 1 hour difference between us. So I hope they join us. Without further ado, Dr. Olufemi Oba-Karunwi, can you introduce yourself to my guest, and then we can start getting started. Like I said, I would really love to have everybody together, but if not, we will continue with the show. So, yes.
Thank you very much, sir, for inviting me. And good evening, Nigerians all over the world. Good evening, lovers of Nigeria. Good evening, commentators of Nigeria. Wherever you are in the world, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depends on the climate and also the time at which we are at. My name is Olufemi Oba-Karunwi. I am an academic in United Kingdom. I'm a Nigerian to the core, proudly Nigerian. I am a product of the Nigerian education system, University of Ibadan, and University of my master's, University of Lagos, and the PhD United Kingdom. And also, I am a commentator on Nigerian issues. I'm a Democrat to the core. I'm an activist. I've been one since my university years. I was secretary, assistant secretary to the Student Union University of Ibadan. Later became the president of Student University of Ibadan and vice president of National Student of Nigerian Student NANS. And during the SAP riot and all the stuff, were actively involved. During the fight for democracy, were actively involved. And so when we talk about democracy in Nigeria, I can beat my chest that I was a major participant in the national struggle for Nigerian democratic struggle. So when I talk from a vantage position when we talk about that. I live in the United Kingdom. I lecture in London. I am a father of 3 young adults. I'm married to 1 wife, and I'm a Christian. I also, and I believe that God or Jesus Christ is in Nigeria, and I live in Nigeria. I will die in Nigeria, and like Dr. Adesina says, if God will permit me, when day of resurrection, I will hold the Nigerian flag.
Wow, Thank you very much, Mr. Shall I start calling you Mr. Nigeria?
Yes, call me. I'm proud to be one.
There's part of your introduction that I'm recruiting people to join me, not on this program, but after this program is related to marriage of these days, uh, the marriage of one man, one wife, and the same marriage that has led to a problem all over the world where people will choose to buy guns, where people, those who doesn't want to buy guns, they will choose to learn how to tell lies because it becomes difficult. That's the truth. Maybe at 76, I'm talking from experience that I know, no, I'm not saying I know it all, but I can tell you for free that at least 75% of a relationship as we speak, none of them can búra lójú Ògún, Ṣàngó, Àrá, Ikwe, kò ṣẹlẹ̀. But having said that, it's going to be another program. It's not going to be today. Now, I'm also very happy to have joining me also in the studio is Engineer Tayo Okuboyejo. Welcome to the show. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Good evening, Otunba. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm glad to be here. Lucky for me, I know Dr. Olufemi Oba-Karunwi. We have been in many shows like yours together in other places. So yes, I'm glad to be here.
Maybe a little bit about yourself because in the intro I sent out to invite people, I said you are a security consultant. Before we get there, can you just give us a brief info about that?
Okay. So I'm an engineer by training. I have 2 engineering degrees. I'm halfway through another degree in public administration.
The third one. Mugbe.
Yes. In public administration, because I spent some time working for the UK civil service, and I became very much interested in, public sector policy making, policy design, implementation, and the likes. As I said, I'm an engineer by training. I worked in the oil industry about, give or take, around 13 or 14 years. Before I moved to the civil service, I worked for the civil service for about 5 years. Before I then move into IT consulting, I work in something called governance, GRC, basically. What's that? Regulatory and compliance. So I help organizations identify risk and manage and mitigate and prevent risks from manifesting.
Thank you very much.
In a nutshell.
This is just a little bit by the side. So with your such impressive background, so the new government probably do not need to go too far. They are looking to solve the problem of Boko Haram. So are we saying, or am I saying, are you saying that they can just pick your number and give you a ring, and then you'll be able to help them solve the problem?
Well, it depends on where I come in. So I believe part of the reforms that are needed is around security, around communication, like the digital side of things. Certainly, yes, that's what I do. Yes, so definitely on the digital side.
So you will not run away if they say, well, what digitally can we do digitally to solve this problem?
It will be an honor. I'm looking forward to the day that I will serve Nigeria. It will be an absolute honor to do that.
Fantastic. You're welcome again.
Thank you, sir.
Just again, a little bit about arrangement in the house. For those of you who are watching this show, I want to say, please, if you can help us share, love, like, and subscribe It's not a monetized program. I can quickly see that. So I don't bring my guests to be under in any form of shape under pressure. No, we relax, we talk over and above everything, and we are very, very homely. And most of the people, as you can see them, they are gentlemen, gentle lady and gentlemen. So, so you are going to enjoy the show. I'm still expecting one more guest from South Africa, Dr. Adesina Okonlomo. Hopefully he will join us. But if not, I think we already formed a majority, so we can continue. Uh, Lady and gentlemen, let me start by saying welcome again. I genuinely feel also honored because it's not all the time easy, more so when you live in Europe. Some people think living in Europe you have all the time. It is not so. Because as a matter of fact, I've seen situations where some people are saying they wish it could be 27 hours a day. But unfortunately, we are into 24 hours. Um, not long ago, not long ago, and we are even talking not even 2 days. I think this is the first or second day. There is a big shift, a big change in the country called Nigeria. And from the testimony from Dr. Olufemi Oba-Karunwi already made me to believe that he did not say so because born and bred 76 years ago in Nigeria, I don't think he can be more Nigerian than I do. Having said, we might have some other wishes, dreams, and aspirations, which in terms of this discussion tonight, we'll be getting there. Let me quickly start with the lady. This change we are talking about is that Nigeria, as one of very important country all over the world, uh, just got a new head of state, a new leader. And what's your initial reaction to the installation of a new government under the leadership of Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
So first and foremost, I would want to congratulate the Federal Republic of Nigeria and Nigerians for another uneventful transition of power, especially when you consider what is happening in our neighborhood. And when I say neighborhood, I mean in the West African region. Uh, there's been lots of instability. There's been lots of coups, and by and large, many of those skirmishes have been right at our doorstep. I mean, it was just last year that the coup in Chad, was it last year or 2 years ago?
About 2 years ago, I think.
Yes, about 2 years ago, that the coup in Chad, in fact, was that much serious that it took the life of the head of state. So I think there is plenty for Nigerians to be grateful for in that respect, in that, despite what's happening in our neighborhood, and despite the challenges in the Sahel region, we have relatively remained calm, and we have transitioned from one one electrically uh, one elected democratic government to another. So for me, I'm happy to see that. I'm happy that it was uneventful. I mean, of course, people expressed their freedoms in whatever way and shape or form that they desired. But even at that, we had an event-free transition, and that for me is something to be thankful for as a Nigerian. And so yes, and like Dr. Carol, although I mean I have a dual nationality. I was born in England, but I grew up in Nigeria, and I've always loved Nigeria. Nigeria is what I know. Nigeria is in me, and by the grace of God, I know that I am one of those people that will never stop living the hope and dream of Nigeria inside me. Like, I will never ever give up on Nigeria as a country. So yes, so I think there is you know, the future is bright of Nigeria. I will always believe that.
Thank you. Dr. Olufemi, your immediate
Yes, sir.
reaction to the
Uh,
changeover.
First and foremost, Sister T, how are you? Good to see you. And
Thank you,
congratulations to
sir.
both of us.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to both of us.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes, thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I must quickly, so I don't want to doubt this your congratulations, because I'm going to about to tell the world that you. But I'm very happy to see. I deliberately brought both of you together.
Mhm.
You join, and when I listen to what Engineer Tayo said, it makes me happy. And so, because then again, this congratulation makes me to be more cheerful, because when I know that these people took different flights to the same destination, but I'm not going to say that yet. Yeah, Dr. Olufemi, let's carry
Yes,
on with your
yes, sir.
immediate
The
reaction.
reason why I congratulate my sister is that it is important for us to know the importance of a seamless transition in Nigeria. Sometimes, as Black people, of people of color, we always forget when there is a problem. When there's anything becomes good, we forget where we're coming from. This is a nation that is having 16th president, the 16th head of state. But how many of them are civilians? Just about 4, 5 out of 16. That is to say that we have been in a mess, we have been in darkness for a long time. And for once, Nigeria is getting it right. No matter, democracy is not a perfect, seamless project. If it is, there will be crisis in America. There will be crisis even here in the United Kingdom. People are complaining about the process of elections. So now the Conservative Party has brought in through the back door a law now that before you vote, now you just get a card through your door and vote. Now you must show your ID card to vote in this country. So they've changed some things around. So things are changing all over the world. And for us to go through that process, and then where we are at now as a nation, now it is a need for us to congratulate ourselves. We, in the past, when we talk about change of government, we talk about coup, we talk about shooting each other, killing each other. But now we're talking about people making a decision to who governs them. The president making a comment, and there's a reaction in the society. And that is a development. That's why I congratulate every Nigerian that calls himself a Nigerian. It is a thing of joy. Because most times, sir, when bad things happen in Nigeria, it is easy for all of us, people to start posting it on here. But when good things happen, when we congratulate ourselves, sometimes people say, why are we congratulating ourselves? It's nothing. But that nothing, that caused nothing, is also something to a lot of people that also love Nigeria. On the issue of that, on the question you asked me, sir, I want to say that it is a thing of joy for people like me that, one, for the person I support, whose ideals I buy into, whose vision I see as a vision that will move Nigeria forward, and for a long time, we have I would say in a long time, I think for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have a true Democrat as the president of Nigeria. A true Democrat. Obasanjo is an aberration. Forget about that. Buhari is a man that took uniform off and became a president. Jonathan was just a presidential president. The real president would have been a Democrat president, because didn't last so long, which was Yaradua. You could see the way he was planning to govern until death took him away. You could see that he was a Democrat. But now we have a Democrat in the saddle of government of Nigeria. So it's a thing of joy for us to say that. And I'm hoping and believing that because it's a seamless system, and because of the kind of person he is and the kind of vision he carries, the beginning may be rough, but I know that Nigeria is on the right trajectory.
Thank you very much. It's I think it's longer than, but I knew it that as I believe you are still the current. You are not the past secretary to APC UK, so I can imagine to pass the exam of what is your reaction. You will need more time to talk. I appreciate that. I must agree with both of you, and having been on my show before, you all know that apart from my kind of veering to part of quest to wanting to have a nation called Yoruba Nation. We're not getting there yet. Don't even start. Don't need nobody to try to just apart from that, I can say openly that I'm also one of the Nigerians. I mean, I still carry Nigerian passport, even though I have another British or whatever. But I can say that I'm very happy that we now have at least a democratically elected head of state. And then in the person of Ashaju, I know Ashaju very well. And I'm sure if he sees me among the thousands of people, he will say, so we can talk. So I do appreciate that. I'm also using any opportunity since he has been elected to congratulate him, to appreciate that even though I did not openly, because these are things I cannot hide. There's any things you don't hide. And I did not openly campaign for any of the three candidates. But it's just like I'm sick and tired of some people saying, how did it happen? One was rigged, and the other was rigged out. And what I quickly say to them is, since 1952 in the history of Nigeria, there have not been any free and fair election. And I get worried when three people want to protest.
Except for 1993, sir.
The 1993, well, then again, that's even more than rigging. That's more criminally described than it's rigging, because when you annul something, it's just like somebody annul your next elect. I mean, your next.
But the election was still
the election was fair and fair.
The freest and the fairest
election.
Yeah, I agree, because the option 4 that was
used.
Option A4.
Yeah, A4 that was used to select. I mean, to elect. Sorry, it was hardly used anywhere in the whole world. But then it was used successfully. But then again, the result is become a disaster. Now, I don't want us to take too much time in wanting to go through that. Because like I said, I have told some of my people who are critics, and I said 3 people went to war. They should have gotten them necessary preparation made before they go. I mean, the number one thing they should be thinking is they might get killed. So if one wears 4 different protection, he has not overdone anything. So the result is where we are today. Now, again, I join you again to welcome President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but we still cannot afford to start saying things which are not really ready to be said. What do I mean by that? Just within 24 hours, the whole country gone loose with what he said by there's going to be subsidy removal. And then truly and honestly, when he said that, and looking the way we operate in Nigeria especially, just a word of mouth like that takes me back to the 70s when Oduji increased the salary of workers. In fact, the man has not even paid they have not even paid the workers. By the time people get so really, again, these are part of our cultures. We maybe as time goes on, we're going to get away from it. What's your reaction to what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said and the reaction from the public? Let me start with you, Dr. Olufemi.
I have 2 reactions to the issue. And one of them, you have mentioned it in the sense that I have no issue about the announcement, and it's also sent a kind of the agenda for his government. His government is going to be transparent and it's going to be upfront with Nigerians, and that is what happened there. The other aspect is also the other aspect I have is that maybe the 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 choice of words and also what was communicated. There was something missing in that aspect. And also I'll come back to where I said that we have to be careful as a nation. Now, what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said was no news. If anybody that is a Nigerian, a proper Nigerian, should know that outgoing government said by July 1st, subsidy would not be paid anymore. Nigeria, the PMS will be detected by market forces. And therefore, what the outgoing government did was to take an 800 million loan for the World Bank for palliatives towards that. And that money has been approved by the National Assembly so that there'll be a cushion for the effect of the removal of subsidy. Unfortunately for Nigerians to work on what do we do and how are we going to do that? A lot of people are on the media attacking the government. Oh, they want to steal the money. They want to use the money as how to depart money. Oh, they are stealing the money for that. They are not focusing on the reason why they are taking the money, and how they are going to. So that should be the subject of our discussion when they are taking the money for the palliative, for the subsidy removal. But instead of also focus on that, they were focusing on, they want to steal the money. They want to steal the money. And that was what social media and the media was agog with. Now, going back to the statement of the president, all he said is being upfront that there is no subsidy anymore. And he has said that. That's one thing we need to be thankful to God for the kind of president we have. He said that in his campaign promises, I will not do subsidy. And he came out on the first day, he said it there, I'm not going to do subsidy. So what is the news there? He said it in his campaign promises. People voted on that campaign promises. The other candidates also said that as well. The only person that did not say, I will remove subsidy was the SDP candidate, Mr. Adebayo. I said, I will not remove subsidy. The other said, I will remove subsidy. So when he became president, yes, I said, your rest to say, no, is that a candidate or commissioner for local government chairman? I don't know. I don't know.
Femi, I don't know what one of the contestants, so we have to see him as
okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
In his CV, he would say he has contested for presidency twice.
Yeah, twice. Okay. Is it twice or thrice now?
And maybe
twice.
Okay.
Twice.
All right. Okay. So he's trying to beat Atiku to it. So the number of contestants.
We have somebody who can speak for Atiku here. We don't want to go to.
So on the ground, so he hit the ground running, telling Nigerians exactly what he said in his campaign promises. He's going to do it. And he said it, I am not going to. He said it before. He said, Nigerians will demonstrate to Nigeria, it will be hard, but we will take the subsidy away. For goodness sake, this subsidy is criminal. It's a crime unto humanity. Somebody that is driving, that has 5-6 cars in his compound, the government is subsidizing the drive of those 6 cars, and somebody that doesn't have a car or that doesn't have a bicycle, now the money that's supposed to be used for hospital or to provide a school for him or good roads for him is being used to subsidize the lifestyle of the rich. They buy generator, they will put the money to put fuel into generator. It's still about subsidizing the life of the rich and comfortable. The thing is this, the money for subsidy, the money that is put on subsidy could have been used toward better things, for providing education, for providing hospital, for providing good road, for providing other things, amenities for Nigerians, which will have easily gone to the common man if you are rich enough
to drive 4 or 5 cars, and you want to buy fuel in it, so be it. Nigeria has the cheapest fuel in the world. Why should we be subsidizing fuel? We are not subsidizing education, which is a long-term effect on Nigerians. We are not subsidizing hospitals, which is for the health and life and well-being of Nigerians. We are not subsidizing well-being of Nigerians. We are subsidizing fuel. So it is something that needs to be looked in. And we have said it before. He has said it before. He will remove it, and he said it. The only thing I have about that is that clarification, because Nigerians will read into anything negatively. That this removal of subsidy will start from June. But for goodness sake, the fuel at the moment now is still subsidized. And look at what's happening on the queues. So it is an artificial scarcity. It shows how horrible we Nigerians are to each other.
Dr. Femi, let me quickly interject you there. Now, the point here and the issue here is Yoruba Loni Beleni Obioni Ako. I think the issue here, and we need to be also at the end of the day, is our president, and we hope that he's going to serve everybody. But the issue here, what people are saying, but we also cannot just throw them in and say, what are you talking about? Millions of people are saying the way he said it. I'm going to see him, I'm saying to you, Baba on the best is Sony. So that, I think that we need to talk about that. And
I said that now. The way he said it, yes. The way he said it was what created that.
Yes. And that should not be just any frivolous criticism. That's just a objective and constructive criticism. We need to you and I will quickly understand that, because we just know that, because look at the history you are trying to say to everybody here. You know the history of this, you know what it is, how bad it is for the economy, and even how bad for everybody there. Now, but let me quickly go to Engineer Tayo. Your reaction to when President Tinubu talk about the kò sí epo, kò sí subsidy more, and people just go haywire and say, wọ́n dé o, wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ o, they just start to kò tí. So what do you want to say to the people? Let's start with the people. How do you want to tell them calm down?
So I think for starters, it's important for us not to be mischievous. And the reason why it's important for us not to be mischievous is that before President Buhari left, he had told us, and the National Assembly have told us, that we only have money budgeted for petroleum subsidy up until the end of June. And as Dr. Oba-Karunwi mentioned, to that end, a loan of $800 million had been obtained from the World Bank. I should add, in fact, this was a policy recommendation of the World Bank. It has been for the last 4 years or so. So the World Bank was, should I say, was amenable to the idea and quickly granted the loan. So
sorry to interrupt. Even though for me, I'm not an economist, but I think it's a very stupid when you say amenable for World Bank to borrow. They might not even get that money back, because that can be is subject to review of the new government. But anyway, I'll allow you to continue. I just want to quickly chip that in.
So I imagine that first and foremost, because one party, the party that departed, is handing over to the same party. I can't imagine that there will be that much departure from policy. So I don't expect that decision to be reviewed or to be revoked by the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration. So I expect that to go ahead. The World Bank has already concluded that they're happy to grant the loan, and that's going to go ahead, to the best of my knowledge. Now, my only issue with the announcement is that we all know how these things work in Nigeria. I mean, the shall I say the reaction, the societal reaction is nothing surprising because this happens all the time. So every time there is any kind of announcement, or in fact, there doesn't have to be an announcement. There just has to be a rumor. And all marketers would immediately do this thing where they will jack up prices or they stop selling. Or so knowing that, and without any specific regulation in place, note I said regulation. I'm not even talking about palliatives now. I'm talking about regulation to protect people from any sharp practice or practices by these marketers whom, look, we know them like the back of our hands. This is what they would do. I find that including that as part of his inaugural speech, where the opportunity to lay bare the issues and expatiate on, what the government is going to do to provide support measures for the poorest households, that opportunity is not there. So my only issue was the timing and the medium of the, well, no, I don't have a problem with the media, of course it will have to be a speech, but it's just like the when it was done, like I would have preferred it to be done like, at a place and time where people can ask questions, and all these issues people have had to grapple with in the last 24 hours would have been properly dissected and there would be clear understanding by everyone. But thankfully, so my only issue is just that it was part of the inaugural speech, because the opportunity to talk about all of these other details and provide granularity wasn't there.
Could have come later, yeah?
Yeah, so, but then moving forward, I think perhaps that has been immediately obvious to the president and perhaps maybe even the transition team that is current. I mean, he hasn't made any announcement, but I imagine that he's probably working with people already. They've kind of swung into action very quickly. We've seen an official circular from the NNPC. We have seen expected expected prices across the nation, and our expectation is price is going to be between 500 and 550 across the length and breadth of Nigeria. So it means that for the first time, everybody is going to pay the same price, which was not the case at the time when we had subsidy. In fact, some of the poorest people paid higher prices than we urban dwellers would pay for petrol, especially.
Yeah, thank you very much for that additional information. I'm sure for those of us listening to this show, had comment that say, "Oh, wonderful." One of you have already explained, throw more lights into what subsidy is all about, and they love it. Now they know that subsidy is nothing but scam. That was it. Please keep sending in your comments to the comment section of this show. And again, I want to remind people who are just joining us. I know there's clash of other shows, but then again, like I said, because we are not under pressure, we are not monetizing any. So I'm not really going to say share. If you can share, fine. I appreciate that. If you can love and like, it's also good. Subscribe, that's the most important thing. And press the notification button for the next time. Now, let's move on to another part of this show. Again, it's all about the new emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But like I said, I don't want to leave room for going to an area that will bring unnecessary controversy. As far as I'm concerned, there was an assignment for a body to elect. They've done their job. They've done the conducted, collected what it is, concluded, and then the job is now been certified and completed. So I just believe that all we need now is just to join hands together and move on to see that the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu succeed. Because when you look at other climb, after election, usually there's no more campaign. A place like the UK, they don't allow, there's no, I think over 100 years ago, you cannot in any form or shape after election going to tribunal. I don't think whether they even have provision for tribunal here. So it's just not necessary. Even though the initial introduction of wanting to people to carry ID card to vote, as Dr. Olufemi alluded, I can understand maybe because of changing, things are changing all the time. And I think it's also very important for us to change. Now, there's another area some people will want to talk. They don't want to hide their feelings, and I can understand that. People are talking about the health of the new president. Lady Tayo, when somebody say his health, what will you say to them?
When they say what? Say that again, sir.
About the health of the new president, because there are certain things they want to use this as for whatever reasons. I want to talk about it to let people know at least this is where we are. And when people say, his health is whatever, I'm not a doctor. I only read political science and law. So yeah, I'm not sure whether you also anything. But what will you want to say to people who ask you his health is whatever? What will you say to them?
So I guess my immediate response to that is, I personally do not have time for mischief. I believe a lot of this has to do with mischief, especially when you consider that, look, it's no secret President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is more than 70. Well, at the time he started, so you expect certain things around a man. I remember what it was like for my dad turning 70. He had this and that, and and by and large, it would be nice. Now, when I say I don't have time for mischief, I also at the same time I would like some candor on the part of politicians as well, where they can be upfront about any long-standing illness, so that at least we know. But it's almost like a catch-22 for me personally, because whether he tells us, if it's not something that anyone should particularly harp on, people will become mischievous about it. At the same time, I feel like our leaders should set the right example. And if there are any long-standing issues of concern, it is useful. In fact, not only useful, I think that they have a responsibility to share that with us, just so we know. And the reason why I say that is this. So try and remember when Boris Johnson had COVID. So even though I'm not a supporter of the Conservative Party, I wanted him to get well. Like, there was no reason for us to have to deal with any kind of negative eventuality out of that as a country, especially when this was in the middle of COVID. But they told us, basically, there was an announcement to say this has happened. The Prime Minister is undergoing treatment. Everybody, the country sort of came around to, wish him well. Some people even prayed for him and all of that. Similarly, we had the same situation in the United States when President Trump also, contracted COVID.
Yes.
It was made public because they have a responsibility to tell the citizens about their health. And remember when I said if there's a long-standing issue or a particular health issue that could have like huge ramifications for, the democracy or or governance, they have a responsibility to tell us. Okay. But also, I would like for the mischief makers to not run to the market with this, because I remember that when President Buhari was being sworn in, I recall people saying that he was going to die within the year.
In fact, he died. And some people say,
Yeah, exactly. And some people even, there are videos of Aisha supposedly wearing black cloth and his dead body was brought, and we have a Jubril from Sudan or whatever. So yeah, the mischief part I don't particularly like, but I don't think that excuses the responsibility of government or whoever is in charge from telling us if there are any long-standing issues or any health issues that potentially may be of concern to us as a nation. So that's kind of my position.
Thank you. I must say, if anybody see me using white tissue trying to wipe my left eye, it's because when you the wear and tear of my eyeballs, once a month I have to go to hospital to get an injection right in the center of my eyeball. I pray when you get there you don't. But anyway, Doctor,
sorry about that, sir.
That's fine. What's your reaction? Just 1 minute, because we have a couple of other things we want to quickly.
All right, sir. I'm just going to take it for where Engineer Tayo just stopped. We have to understand the culture of our people. One, we have to understand the nation where we come from. We are Black people, we are people of color, and we don't take issue of ailment or, oh, yes, I'm of age, I have this. People take it as, oh, it has to be spiritual. It leads to every disease, every ailment leads to death, and some people will start using that. I remember when we talk about this issue of being transparent, President Buhari was transparent about his hair. You know how people went to town with it and started using it to insult him. He said he has one ear, he had the ear trouble, and he had to go and treat it. They turn into something else, as if children don't have hearing problem. So when we, like you said, I don't have time for mischievous people. The issue is this: in our 50s, people have issues with their health. Somebody that was one of my in-laws, Chief Raymond Opesi, was hell and heavy. He had slight sickness, and it was over. It was over. It was declared fit, and he was on his treadmill, and he fell, and he was gone. People that are healthy could go. I remember, God rest his soul, Comrade Kaudumaki was saying that Buhari is not healthy. Today, he is not here with us. President Buhari has done the 8 years. So people use this and use it to misinform, to attack. And one of the reasons why I am a little bit skeptical about this issue of this health situation is that we have one disease in Nigeria at the moment. It's called social media. One dog and cat will buy iPhone and put it there as I recording rubbish and put it on social media. Oh, I saw the dead body of Buhari, and they put Photoshop and put it there, and some people believe it. Can you imagine some academics in my university believe that Buhari is Jubril? And I said, how can you, just because you are from one part of Nigeria, you are a PhD holder, you believe that you have a clone president, and everybody in Nigeria does not know except Nnamdi Kanu that will know it has not met Buhari before, one to one. And people believe anything. So sometimes people in government just keep some things that are not necessary for purpose of governance away from each other. And lastly, the post of and the office of President of Nigeria is not the post of the striker of Manchester United, or that of ICC Shooting Stars or Rangers International. It is the post that needs a lot of brain, a lot of human resources, and which are bound in Nigeria. It is only what we only need in Nigeria in that is leadership par excellence, which I know that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has in parentheses.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, like I said, on my program, I want to talk about everything, anything that, anything that will get President Tinubu to succeed. We are not going to hide anything, apart from the defense of the country. And every other thing on my show, we can talk over and about. Now, the other thing, an average Nigerian now want to say, well, we've been there before. That's how they come every 8 years or 4 years. And what do you think are the people of Nigeria, well, I'm talking as we speak now, apart from those who are preparing to have a cutoff or disconnection or whatever, we are going to come to that. But an average Nigerian now wants what? Wants good governance. Are they not entitled to say we want good governance in the basic areas of maybe there's housing, a roof over their heads, Medicare, this this economy, and then good transportation, and then security, and so on and so forth. What do you think this president? What would be going in his mind, or do you think these are things he can deliver? Let me start with you, Lady Tayo.
So yes, so first and foremost, I agree 100% that every Nigerian has a right to these expectations. However, I want to personally implore my fellow Nigerians to temper their expectations, because these are hard times. Honestly, if we want to critically assess the economy, the security of Nigeria as a state, these are really, really hard times. And I think we need to, we need to find a way to encourage ourselves to believe that we will see this hard, like these hard times will not last.
Mm.
And I like to, I've been thinking of the best way to put this forward as an analogy for Nigeria. I mean, I wasn't born at the time, but I read some of the literature of post Second World War Germany. So part of what Adenauer did, who was chancellor at the time, was pretty much to encourage everyone, like, look, we're going to have to work really hard. People are probably going to be paid less. We need to, the German nation got a loan from the Allied powers. We're going to need to rebuild our nation. And look, Nigeria hasn't gone through a war, but economically speaking, and when you put that side by side with some of the security challenges that we have, we need to encourage ourselves that to believe and to temper our expectations, because a lot of the things that would normally be delivered. Oh God, what happened there? Sorry, I've
I
been
think
yeah. So some of what we would like to call dividends of democracy,
mm,
some of them may have to take a back step. Basically, we're at a point where we have to prioritize policies. And I'm sorry to say that the things that we have to prioritize are: number one, security; number two, keeping our finances solvent. So thankfully, subsidy is gone. Number three, providing the right body language to investors, because once we are able to encourage investors to come, that will lead to jobs. And once people have jobs, that potentially has what economists will call a multiplier effect,
mm,
where some of this some of these dividends that we expect from government, we will be in a position to continue to provide for ourselves. And by the grace of God, as our journey in democracy grows, we'll get to a point where the government can perhaps, deliver on a host of other things.
Thank you. Dr. Olufemi, again, one of the reasons why people are angry, the politicians, is because 60 years on. Dr. Olufemi, are you still there? I think his picture is frozen. Can you hear me? Femi, can you hear me?
It looks like he's frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah. He may need to go in and.
Yeah.
He's back.
He's back. Can you hear me now, Dr. Olufemi?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you also.
Yeah.
I can hear you. It's Engineer Tayo's line that went off.
Oh, okay. Well, I was trying to say the majority of our people, not even majority, apart from those one who live on ill-gotten commonwealth of the people, majority of the ordinary people are not happy, not with this government, all governments so far they've had. And that's why I appeal to people and say, well, look, taste of the pudding is in the eating. Let us wait and see what this guy is going to do. But I don't blame them. If an average Nigerian say to you, what is the happiness there? After all, for 60 years or so, we have no light, we have no water, we have no road. What will you say to them? How are you going to pacify them and say, well, look, how are you going to explain that to them, even though you're not in the government?
First and foremost, I want to state categorically here that there is no excuse. There is no excuse for the fact that there is no water, there is no electricity in Nigeria at the moment. There's no excuse for that. And then when a government for 18 years spent $16 billion in trying to bring darkness, and that was the only thing they focused on that didn't go through. But by and large, there's no excuse for that. But we have to also look at it. There are some good side of being in Nigeria. One of them is why we're all seated here. I don't know whether Otunba got a part of the legacy. I sit here. I humbly sit here because I went to university in Nigeria. I went to university in Nigeria. My first degree and my master's degree in Nigeria. I owe the federal government of Nigeria no dime. But I did my PhD in this country. I am in debt to this country. I am paying every month for the money I spent to do PhD in this country. But in Nigeria, I'm not paying nothing. Yet, we complain that Nigeria has done nothing for us. Most of us Nigerians are, with all due respect, are ungrateful to that nation. The reason why I say I'm ungrateful to that nation is that those people that went to Nigeria for free, to university for free, will now get to government and now deny other people from getting the benefit of good governance in Nigeria. You get the point I'm making?
Sorry to interrupt. How does this relate to people who are asking for good governance? As far as I'm concerned,
the people that are asking for good governance, some of them
are you saying this is
part of the problem?
Why government cannot do good?
Some of them are part of the problem, sir.
Well, how does
the crime in civil service in Nigeria, that is denying ordinary Nigerians the benefit of good governance is as worse as the politician. I'll give you an example. There's a property in Lagos that I was involved in, and somebody was building on the road that leads to that property. And some people in the judiciary of Lagos State are collecting bribe from him, not to stop him from building that house on that road, which is the pathway and the flood route to the area he was building on it. So people are collecting bribe. Tomorrow, If there's a flood and it kills people, people will complain the government of Nigeria, of Lagos State, did not do what they're supposed to do. But civil servants are the one doing the evil there. And this same civil servant will collect bribe and go home and say the government is not doing the right thing. But we are the government. Every part of us are the government. When somebody is doing something bad, if the moment you mention it, they will say, oh, you are complaining because it's Igbo. You are complaining because it's Hausa. We will all join and become a part of the problem. So until we see governance as we people as well are part of, look at what is happening with this subsidy. The subsidy is still on. The people that are collecting the subsidy, are now making life difficult for common man in Nigeria. Meanwhile, they're the one that will complain. These marketers have collected the money, subsidy on this one, the fuel, the petrol in their tanks. They collected money already on it, but now they are now ripping Nigeria off. And they say they are not politicians. So if you look at it, we are a people that needs to reorientate ourselves. The government fault in that the government needs to reorientate us as a nation. They need for us to really reorientate ourselves as a nation, that when we do evil, it's a cycle. It comes back to haunt us. Those people that are collecting money, they are the filling pump, making extra money now. When they're about to go home and there's no vehicle to go home, you're complaining that this government is still, but you are collecting extra money at the filling station where you are collecting money. When there's no fuel,
interrupt you, Dr. Olufemi. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Again, I'm speaking for the ordinary people. This line of argument might not want to interest an ordinary person on the street of Agege or somewhere in Ilorin. All what he wants is a good governance. It's good. It's a government to provide all these basic things. So if you continue to say this, and every man say, what is my own business? So I want government to do everything possible, because here you have one of the most powerful presidents government in Nigeria. In Africa is Nigeria. So why the question again will be? I will ask that question. Okay, look, all what you are saying doesn't concern me. What is government doing? Is government not putting in place a kind of a structure, a kind of a system to make it impossible for these cabals to operate? Is that too much to ask for a layman? What are you going to say?
It is not too much to ask for a layman. But that layman is himself, has he done his needful? We need to, sir, we build from the root to the tree. We as a nation, I'm not defending government by any form. What I'm saying is that the common man himself, with all due respect, is as worse as people in government. The common man, we need to be realistic. Sir, your program, I have to be realistic. The common man himself, if he gives him the opportunity to be in the position of those people, those in government at the moment. So what we need to do is that there's a terrible in Nigeria at the moment. It's a terrible orientation that everything must come from government. But we have no stake in it. All we just need to do, enjoy anything from government. Anywhere in the world, there's nowhere in the world government provides everything. There's nowhere. There are responsibility of people as well to government. I'm not saying that government has done well. Government has not done well. But the thing is this, for us as a people, we need to also begin to monitor ourselves. Where, for example, where people are selling fuel for 500 and 600 pounds naira per liter, the people that are queuing there supposed to lock their car and allow that place. I don't want to bring violence. Go to that place, beat those people up. Why would you sell what you bought for 90 naira at 600 naira? And some people will go and drive their car into the hotel because I have the money, I'll buy it. No, we're encouraging what is wrong. As a nation, we encourage what is wrong.
Okay. All right. Dr. Olufemi, again, because I have a couple of other, and I'm trying to manage the time. Let's go to another area, which I think is very interesting. At this junction, I want to ask people, if you want to post in your comment, feel free to do so. And also, if you want to call in, it would be nice it would be nice if you can also call in. The number to call is a 07368 465 054. Let me repeat the number: 07368 465 054. And if you're calling from outside, it's +44. And again, please share this to whoever you want to see the show. And also the I don't know what's the happening is. Yes, okay. Are you still there? Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me? Okay.
Yes.
I just got a message from
Engineer,
from South Africa. My third guest just sent me a message that he's been in theater. He's a gynecologist. He has one or two hospitals there. He works around. He's the boss. He just said he's been in the theater since 6 p.m. with one complication or whatever. So he might still join, and if not, I will do his own show some other time. Now let me move to some other area. As we speak, there's no way an average Nigerian will say he doesn't know that there are two major tribes. We are three major tribes. Uh, the one of the major tribes, Igbo, and as we speak, even before the election, this tribe, this particular part of Nigeria, they have been agitating or campaigning for a self-independence. We've been through this before, but I want us to be very, very realistic. I want us to be very realistic in our either subscription or contribution to their demand. Yes, like I said, I'm very happy. At least we have a democratically elected president. But then the Igbos, can one of you start to tell me that are they not entitled to be president of Nigeria? Let me start with Engineer Tayo.
So anyone is entitled to aspire. As I'm sitting in my chair now, 2027, I may pick up a form with a political party.
I'm looking forward to that. I will campaign for you.
And aspire. So
yeah.
The idea that anyone cannot aspire, I think we should, bury that. Anyone can aspire. So that's one point. Now, secondly, democracy is a game of compromise. And compromise that is also possibly the best way to build consensus. You need to be able to get people on your side. You need to be able to give something so that others can give you something as well. So this is why I call it consensus building. So I am not of the school of thought that we're just going to hand over the presidency to any section of Nigeria. Anyone or any group of people who want to support a candidate must be ready to work to convince Nigerians to vote for them. And how they do that work is up to them. So they can do it via campaigns. They can, go and hire an NGO. They can have, support groups that will, do what you would call maybe a launder of their image so that Nigerians would accept and vote for them. So for this reason, I don't subscribe to the idea that anyone or any group must be handed over the precedence. Like, it should be handed to anyone. You have to work for it, and you have to show people that you're willing to work for it, and you have to do it within the confines of the Constitution. So anyone does that and carries the day, I'm fine with that.
Well, Engineer Tayo, you will agree with me that there have been an issue on that because many more years since we can go back to 1966 when this issue of this part of the country want to remove themselves. They're now been joined by another group of people, in the Southwest who are believing that they could do better if they were to be alone. I just want us to.
You want me to speak to that? So
yeah,
okay.
quickly, but then I go to.
So very quickly.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think we tend to forget is that, of course, Southeast Nigeria, or the geopolitical zone that is known as the Southeast, is not the same as the area that is called Biafra. The area that is supposedly designated Biafra include other people. It includes ethics, it includes BBOs, it includes Eshans, it includes, you name it. It includes area. So to make that as simple as possible, it includes Edo State, includes Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Rivers, pretty much all of the areas that consider themselves as South-South. And a vast majority of these people, I mean, you can put out an opinion poll yourself. They want to be part of Nigeria. So if there is a way that Southeast Nigeria can become a country without forcing other people to go along with them, I don't have a problem with that. But where you don't have homogeneous ethnicity and you insist that because you want your own country, other people must be forced to come along with you, I do not agree with that.
Okay. Thank you. Dr. Olufemi, then let me allow you to talk on almost the same question, but then on another ethnicity, the more homogeneous group like the Yoruba, which are still believing that they could do better if they to be on their own. So I know, I mean, I can imagine some people will agree, some people will disagree, but then I'm still believing that for those who are campaigning for actualization of Yoruba nation, I'm not too sure whether they're breaking the law because they're entitled to request or ask for whatever they believe in. So we've been through this before, but then again, as much as I'm 100% in support of good governance of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but it's also part of what I've been saying to him as all right. Don't forget, some people, they are also entitled to say if they want. I can imagine that he's not going to agree to break up of Nigeria unless someone want to delete himself. So, but then, are you saying that people who started the campaign, they are not entitled to campaign for the Yoruba nation?
Thank you very much, sir. I am bold to say this: Yoruba nation is non-starter. It's an ideology of a political ideology that was coined in the mindset of some people, that was sold in the name of getting us into the political mainframe of Nigeria, and that is not in the reality of today. If you talk about that, if somebody talks about Yoruba nation during the Jonathan regime, I would say the person may have a leg to stand, because the only office that was left for a Yoruba man under Jonathan was a minister for agriculture. Every office was occupied by a northerner or an easterner. Go and check the records. A northerner or an easterner. Nothing for the Yoruba man in the Jonathan regime. Those people did not see Yoruba nation then. There was no agitation for Yoruba nation. But immediately they got out of, because they were eating from crumbs in PDP. The moment they got out of power, even to the extent, I boldly say today, and I have a video of it, I think I've shared it with you. Even Chief Igboho
went as far as campaigning for Wada in Kogi. That he said, I'm a PDP man to the core. He said, I have a video of it, I can share it with you. He said it boldly, I'm a PDP man to the core. I've been voting for PDP and I'm fighting for PDP at the rally. The moment they got out of power, they started fighting for Yoruba Nation. Then, now they were fighting for Yoruba Nation when a Yoruba man is the vice president of Nigeria. They're fighting for Yoruba Nation when Yoruba man is the speaker of in Nigeria. They fight for Yoruba Nation when Yoruba men are the core members of control of a ruling party. They were not doing Yoruba Nation when Yoruba was nothing in the government for almost 6 years. They didn't see Yoruba Nation because you were eating from crumbs on the table. Now, the moment Yoruba men, learned Yoruba men got into governance, which was working towards getting us to where we are today. They started fighting for Yoruba Nation. We must get out of Nigeria. To do what? To where? We're not getting out of anything. Thank God for those of us that stood up and said we're not going anywhere. Today, the effect is there. Today, the Chief Justice of Nigeria is a Yoruba man. Today, we have the first woman director of custom, a Yoruba woman. Today, we have a president of Nigeria, Yoruba man. And we're saying that we are marginalized. Marginal what? We are not marginal anything. We are in the mainstream of Nigeria, and we are going nowhere. On the issue of the east, of the people of the southeast, we don't do research like Tayo said. The Biafra thing is a misconception because it is beyond the people of southeast. The Biafra nation goes beyond those things. The people they are calling Biafra say they don't want to be a part of it. The Edo people say they are not Biafrans. The Efik say they are not Biafrans. These people are forcing themselves on them. So first thing, if you look at it from that perspective, they are impostors. They are imposing a nation that is dead, that even Chief Emeka Ojumegojuku said himself that anybody that brings up Biafra again, the person is evil. He said they have a video of it. This thing I keep it as record. He said anybody that brings up Biafra again is evil. So this idea of Biafra nation, they did not see Biafra nation when Jonathan was in government. They don't see Biafra nation. They don't see Biafra. When almost everybody in government was running business from the south and the southeast. Most of the if you look at the minister for labor was from the southeast. The minister for the Inspector General of Police was chief of what's his name? Army was from the southeast. A lot of people were there. The Secretary of Federal Government was from the southeast. A lot of them were there controlling government for 6 years. The moment they got out of power, they want to talk about living. Living where? We are not living anything. We are going to all stay in this Nigeria together and weather it together. Well, the reason why we are talking about this segregation is because Nigeria has not been working. But under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we will see a better Nigeria that works for everybody and everyone.
Okay. Having said all this, this a reaction I expected because, like I said, we all know to each other. Actually, I mean, we are three. It's only this time around, according to one of my friend, my colleague, I can't call him my son. My son just turned 49 only yesterday, so he's 50 something. It may be about started. That's Femi. Okay. He's been.
I'm your son too, sir.
Yeah, I know. So I agree. And I also have a daughter in Engineer Tayo. Now, on a more lighter note, I want to make and I want to make it more friendly on this too. Tell me what a likelihood of Bola Ahmed Tinubu not to succeed. He has all the tools. He has all the, apart from what both of you alluded to, the culture of our people that just like Icon 2 words for them. The first was Ibamishe, the second one is Remilekun. Ibamishe are the growing number of people who do not want to do anything by themselves. I'm sorry, I don't want to call any derogatory word. They just want people to do it for them. In the process, people then run away with their destiny. They just don't say, "Well, you can't do it yourself." There's a problem. Now, the second one, the Remilekun, are those people who, again, are not anti-religion in any form or shape. You know, that people that religion has now overtaken their destiny. It's the religion that is dictating and determining what they have to do. Thank God that people like you have said, you know what, religion on one side, my education, my future, my brains need to work according to uh, synchronized education or whatever. Otherwise, you and I will not be sitting down here talking. So, I want to start with you, uh, Engineer Tayo. What are probable reasons why Tinubu will not succeed? Because we want to all agree that he will have to succeed. He has no option. Do you think he has an option not to succeed? Tell me, Engineer Tayo.
So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no option but to succeed. However, one Dr. Femi Oba-Karunwi is not going to like this, but no, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
Feel free to say
it. A showstopper is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu not getting constructive criticism, getting a pat on the back, because I mean, some of the things I have read, some of the excerpts on WhatsApp across news channels that I read that are written by APC stalwarts like Dr. Obafemi Karunwi, you would think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a human being. And that makes me worry. And the reason why that makes me worry is that there is a possibility of the president being surrounded by people who will consistently yield praise upon him, and he will not see some of the challenges that he has to see. He will not see problems where there are problems, because all he hears is praise singing. So whether we like it or not, look, Nigeria is in dire straits. We have a lot of problem, which would take not only, a determined approach to tackling, it will also take, to paraphrase a Yoruba adage, wanity, let me for the purpose of those who don't speak Yoruba, like if two siblings enter into a room and have a conversation, and they come out of that room and the two of them, their eyes are red. I mean, they have a frank
expression at each other.
Yes, they have a frank expressions that it means that they've spoken the truth to one another. But if they come out and they're all full of laughter and whatnot, it means they've lied to each other. So I am worried about praise singers. I'm worried about sycophants. I'm worried about this. I mean, in the course of even this conversation that we've been having, I've been smiling as I'm wondering and asking myself, like, Doctor will not let me forget that he's an APC man. But I refuse to be baited. So
I would deal with that. At the beginning of this show, I said it. I deliberately brought two people from two different, different worlds, the same world.
So I refuse to be baited. I like how he cleverly inserted it there that some people spend 16 billion to procure darkness, but we know that's not true. Look,
which part of it is not true? Because I can only rely on what I read.
No, because there is a National Assembly inquiry report that is out there. Yes, indeed, 16 billion naira was budgeted, but in the end, only 3 billion was released. And even at that, the vast majority of the equipment were bought and left, yes, I agree, to rot at Nigerian ports. So wait, that's number one. Number two, this subsidy issue that we're now talking about. Look, those who encouraged Nigerians to resist subsidy in January 2012 are now at the forefront of leading the charge on subsidy. Look, there is an entire book written by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala about this. You hear people from the APC talk about how Nigeria didn't save any money, forgetting that President Goodluck Jonathan was actually taken to court by 2 APC governors, that he had no rights. Don't forget that under that government, there was a sovereign wealth fund that was created, and we were meant to be saving any extras, the excess crude accounts, whenever we have. So the thing is, but I don't want to, because I don't want this to be like we're back in electioneering.
Yeah, exactly. I want to try to avoid that.
Exactly. So my concern, the biggest concern I have is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be surrounded by praise singers.
That's I must say this. That's your Is that pre-assumption or
presumption?
Presumption.
No, it's not an assumption, sir. Because, like I said, look, this morning, sir. Wait, sir. This morning, sir, I still responded to one of my community brothers, one of my older community brothers. You know, where we're reading things like, oh, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the man who has started something, you know, he has started with I forgot the sentence, and I was like, look, it's day. In fact, I ended up telling him, like, look, it is day 2 of 1,460 days. So there is 1,458 days. For me, I will never ever not want and wish Nigeria bad.
Okay.
But please, the elections have been won. Can we just all now relax and just...
Exactly. Now, yeah, thank you, Lady Tayo. As much as I'm happy you keep using the handbrake, or breaking that, we cannot afford to go back to 3 of us here today. We agreed to move on, and all what we are soliciting, all what we are talking about here is to ask for how good governance can get to our people. Dr. Olufemi, I know, please try to refrain from campaigning or whatever, because election.
There's no campaign. We have won election. We are not going to campaign, sir.
I'm only saying. The question I want to ask you is this: on a more serious note, what are probabilities of making Bola Ahmed Tinubu government to succeed? Did you get the question? I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Did you get the question? I'm.
Yes.
Turn it around, yeah. What do you think are possible area of blocks or hurdles that will make? Because I said to my friends, I said, listen, independent of I'm part of Yoruba, whatever it is, I cannot pinpoint any one good reason that will not make Bola Ahmed Tinubu to succeed. He has everything. Tell me or tell us what do you think will make him not to succeed? Please address the question.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, First, I will agree with Engineer Tayo about the issue of sycophancy. It's a Nigerian thing. Either you surround yourself with it or not, but it's about whether you listen to it or not. That's a difference between that. Whether you're going to listen or you are going not to listen, that's just a different thing. Nigerians are sycophant by nature. If they will call you God if you are not careful. So, but with all the sense of humility, Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I know, that man is not about is a bionic man. One of the things that people say, oh, they look at the way he walks, look at his shiny shaky, is because that man is a workaholic. The difference between him and Buhari is this. Buhari will give you a project and go and sleep. Bola Tinubu will give you a project and will stay on your neck. That's the difference between the two of them. Until that thing is done, Bola Tinubu will be on your case. That's the difference between the two of them. Some people talk about Ambode today. One of the reasons why Ambode was uprooted from Lagos was that it was going out of the Lagos project. One of the major things was going out of the Lagos project. And when you don't do that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu uproot you. Unlike Buhari, that will be pampering people. Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not do that. If you are not performing, you are out. You mute yourself, sir. You mute yourself.
Yeah, sorry. Dr. Olufemi, what I'm saying, tell us what can be responsible for Bola Ahmed not to succeed.
Yes, I'm going there. I'm going there. So the thing that will make him, the thing that will make him not to succeed, one, God, I pray tonight that will not be his portion. Ill health. Ill health. One. Secondly, one of the other things that will not make him not succeed is the world economy downturn. Besides that, the Bola Ahmed Tinubu that I've known since 1989, I've known him personally since 1989, has something at the back of his mind for Nigeria to the extent that he does not see Nigeria, being president of Nigeria, as something that is taken for granted. Like if you are listening to his project before, one of the things he said that he wants to be the Lincoln of Africa, the Lincoln of Nigeria, that when we talk about the goodness and the greatness of Nigeria, we will mention Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he's gone. That is his vision. So if we are going to that, my prayer is good health. My prayer is that we should need to pray for him as a nation. And one of the other things, sir, before I go, is that one of the things we are taking for granted is the kind of wife he has. That woman herself is a goal-getter. That woman herself is a woman with passion and compassion for women and children. You will begin to see that in the governance of Nigeria, which is unprecedented in the history of Nigerian First Lady. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The just very last part of this show, I just want to make two major announcements. And again, like I said, if anybody wants to phone, I still have about 10 minutes to play with. You can call in to ask questions from my guests. It's been a pleasure having Engineer Tayo Okuboyejo as my guest. He's been here before. And Dr. Olufemi Oba-Karunwi, we've appeared together. He has also been on this show before. So please call in on 0 +44 7368 465 054. If you want to, or if you want to send a comment, feel free to do so. I must remind everybody that is watching this program. This program is not under pressure. It's a Jelenke program. It's a program of a different level. We're not blogging. We talk properly. We talk sense. We want all the good things that can happen to our people. So if you don't have any, in another 5 minutes, I will have to end because I don't want it to be too long than 1 hour, 30 minutes before, but I've gone 5. So let me thank you, both of you, my guests. I also want to use this opportunity to send a tribute to the late Dr. Raymond Dokpesin. I'm not going to say we grew up together, but we were two together at Tokumbo Street. For those who are Lagosians, we grew up together. We were playing, we play games together. We do everything together. But because I don't grow to be popular, so that's why some people say, where were you when he was a chairman of this and that? I still keep them as my good friend. As I speak, I still have good friends among the former commissioners. As the government of Buhari come to an end now, I can tell everybody for free that I have 4 of them who they are not been picking. I don't call them, but they promised 8 years ago. Oh, Otunba, I will call you back. That is typical Nigerian politician for you. But at least 4 of them are they are free now. I can call them and say, Kini, how market now? So 4 years is gone, you know. So that would be my pleasure. And also I want to use this opportunity to congratulate and celebrate my first son. He turned 49 yesterday, and I've said I'm going to give him a shout on my show. And he turned 49. I want to wish him more longer life, prosperity, and all the best. And hopefully, when he gets to my age, hopefully, he will have done something, at least contribute something to the society. Finally, this is a very important announcement, and I'm using my show to make this announcement. It has come to the public knowledge that some miscreants, some I'm sorry to use some derogative words, some miscreants, some illiterates, some idiots, some people who cannot read and write, who doesn't know the difference from left or right or whatever, have chosen to disgrace themselves, to bring the business of people who are campaigning for a cause to a disrepute. This has nothing to do with my guest here. It's just like I'm making this announcement that the genuine people who are genuinely questioning for Yoruba nation are not part of these idiots. I choose my word because they decided to go to a radio station in Ibadan. So they want to hijack. And I look back and say, having at my age, I remember that to do a military coup, you must be equipped, you must have planned, you must have all the necessary military wear to want to take over. But these idiots, they were being directed by somebody frying akara, telling them to go left, right, and whatever. They eventually was asked by someone who's also a miscreant, a Russian from America, asking them to go to a radio station. All this is very sad. The Yoruba nation members are not part of this shenanigan, not member of this stupidity. So I just hope, and I've made arrangement to take it further on 1 or 2 major television stations in Nigeria, because this is very, very, very disturbing. So that is just 3 major announcements I want to make. On a more lighter note again, Buhari is back in his hometown. I don't know where one of you or all of you have seen him back onto his normal life. What do you say to his, that's, that kind of simple life, Tuwo, he's gone back to eat Tuwo, and his people, apart from his cows that cannot come to his sitting room, his people are like, Baba, come back home. Sono Rankadede. Engineer Tayo, if you retire, do you like that kind of a simple life where, I don't know whether you see that clip?
Oh, when I retire by the special grace of God, I plan to go back to my hometown and volunteer my time teaching primary school kids by the grace of God.
So you also want to build simple as the former president?
Yes. I mean, I've seen the world, I've traveled, I've worked, so what's there to do other than just go home and just relax and enjoy simpler things.
Yeah, because in fairness, Femi, in fairness to this man, when I look at that clip where he just sit down on a normal chair, and it's just a normal chair, and his siblings, his people come around and they're just talking like he was never a former head of anywhere. That thing says a lot of things to me. Did you see that video? Did you see that clip?
I did. Just imagine, just compare that with President Obasanjo. I won't say anything. Look at the difference between him and President Obasanjo. They are just poles apart. That is why the people of Daura reverence him. That's the people of Daura also see him as someone that they can always relate to. We can't do that with President Obasanjo. I will say no further.
I agree with you. And it's on that note, I want to thank you for coming to this show. and I highly appreciate you. God bless you all, and my best regards to your family. Hopefully, when
Thank you,
next
sir.
time I call you, you'll be able to give me your time. So this is where I'm going to end the show tonight. Like I said, I appreciate many other people are doing their show. So, but I want to appreciate you. Thank you very much, and
Thank you,
bye
sir.
bye. And have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Bye
All right, Engineer Tayo, have a nice
bye.
weekend. And
You
also, sir, thank you very much for inviting
all
us, sir.
right.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir. God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.